Hello, I'm Liz Duplessis, the Instructional Designer in Distance Education at Santa Rosa Junior College. In this video, SRJC instructor Hannah Saffold gives us a tour of her online elementary nutrition class, which provides an introduction to the basic principles of nutrition. You can watch a 1-minute quick looks video on the Distance Education website at de.santarosa.edu to learn more about her class. In her Canvas course, a prominent feature are the dozens of short videos that she created, starting with her syllabus page, where she provides a personal introduction to the course and tips for success.
Hi everyone, welcome to the semester. Here I'd like to highlight some student responsibilities that are important for your success in the course.
Within each lesson, she provides several short video lectures. She told me about how she converted her classroom lecture slides into videos using Screencast-O-Matic.
I'd been teaching my class in person for a few years, so I already had the deck of slides that originally came from a colleague in my department. So I had been adjusting them and making them more my style over time. So I just used those slides and used the Screencast-O-Matic to record video lectures, which the students absolutely love, because then I'm there translating the scientific information to a language that they can understand, and they can see what's important, and they can hear my stories, and I can throw in some humor, which I think they appreciate.
Next, Hannah provides an in-depth tour of her course modules and activities in Canvas.
I like to start them off with an intro to online learning, especially for the students that might be new to online learning. So that gives them some basic groundwork on how to navigate through the course and some of those logistical concerns that they might have. I start in week 1 with an introduction of both myself, and then I have the students introduce themselves to me and to each other. I try to encourage them to record a video. A lot of them get nervous about recording videos, but I find that that is a really good way for them to engage more with each other and with the course, and it gives me a chance to really get to know them as well, and it brings that human aspect to the online environment. I even tell them too in the beginning that even for me, making videos can be awkward at first, and it's hard to listen and watch your own videos, but I think that helps them kind of recognize as humans. We all feel that in the beginning, and then it gets easier. So I start my weeks with an introduction. I give them a little narration. I ask some important questions in the beginning that I want them to be thinking about throughout the lecture. And then during the lecture, I'm using my PowerPoint slides in the background, and then also the video recording of me translating what's on my slides, telling stories, engaging them in the material. Then from there, after they're through with the lectures, we have an assignment where they're going to apply what they learned in lecture, and sometimes they're looking at maybe their own dietary intake. I have them do some self-diet analysis, so they apply the material either to themselves, or they're looking at different supplements, different diets on the market. I'm giving them tools to differentiate that. So then they'll apply the material they've learned through the assignments, and then I'll also have a discussion where they might share what they learned in the assignment, or they might share what they learned about their own diet. So depending on the material, the discussion will be tailored to what we're doing. And I do encourage them by using a point incentive for them to be engaging with each other. So they're not just posting, hey, this is what I observed. They're also saying, communicating to the other students in the class if they feel similar, different, if they had similar results or not, and just providing each other with support. So that's the discussions that I use, and then there'll be quizzes, just to get a gauge of where they're at with the material. There's a blend of types of questions where, there's a fair amount where they could simply look at their notes and find it. So they need to know how to find the information. And in this day and age, really, most of us have access to information like that at the at our fingertips all the time. So you also want to have a fair amount of questions where they're actually applying the information and it's not something that they can simply Google.
Yeah.
And also I think the time constraint on the quiz helps because, you know, if I'm Googling every question, that's really going to limit how many questions I can answer. So these are examples of some questions that I might use, and these are things that I've directly highlighted to them in the lectures. I think making the questions very specific to what I've talked about, and recognizing that anything they can quickly Google and get the answer to isn't really going to be testing whether or not they understand the information. It's just going to be testing how quickly they can look at their notes or Google something.
Right. And here, do you want to maybe describe why you picked this question to provide more feedback?
This question is talking about essential and non-essential nutrients, and it's testing whether or not they know the difference between those types of nutrients. So it's really just to kind of give them another kind of circle back and be like, remember, this is what we already talked about in lecture, so to kind of differentiate those two and reinforce the information kind of one more time. This assignment is after I've taught them some tools on how to tell if nutrition information is quality information or if it's just bogus media hype. So then the assignment that's associated with that lecture has them choose a website, a diet or a diet product or supplement, a website that interests them, and then they're going to apply what they learn from the class to that actual website. You know, what are some signs that this website might be just someone trying to get their money, or is there actually science behind what they're selling? So so then they're going to pick a website and fill out the assignment document. There's actual prompts here on what I want them to do with the website. And then in the discussion, they'll share with each other what they evaluated, what they found, what kind of conclusions they came to about that assignment. So this is an assignment where the student has uploaded their assignment as a PDF. This is also an assignment where they're evaluating their own dietary intake. And in the speed grader, I find it very, very intuitive in terms of when I want to provide them feedback. I usually use this tool where I will say, okay, and I can click right there, and then, great. I can give them specific feedback, positive, constructive criticism, and that just shows up right there. So I can go through and grade the assignment. I can also provide them with feedback, general feedback on the assignment in this area as well. So for specific feedback, it's great because you can mark this up, you can highlight it, you can draw on it, or you can just leave more simple comments, and then overall feedback you can put in the assignment comments. And it's easy. I just love that you can just put the grade right in there and it plugs it right into the grade book. Saves you a step, and it definitely saves time in that way.
And so here I see there are 3 PDFs, so you had them submit 3 files for one assignment.
Right. So in this assignment, again, they're looking at their food intake. So we also have a diet analysis software associated with this course. So here they plugged their foods into this software, and the software has given them a report. So they're also able to attach their report results along with their analysis of their food intake. And in here we were looking specifically at carbohydrates. So that's why here we have highlighting carbohydrate.
Hannah wrapped up her remarks with a reflection on how busy her online students seem to be.
You know, everyone's busy, but I would say my online students are trying to juggle working and school, and some of them have families. And I think every student has a certain amount of juggling, but I think specifically the online students are, they tend to be a busy group. And I do also encourage them to set aside time for the online class, because I think especially with people who are busy and they're trying to fit the online class into their life with work and kids, and that they might just think, oh, I'll just throw it in here and there. But I try to encourage them to set aside a fair amount of hours per week to dedicate to the course.
Thanks, Hannah.